Dear friends, welcome to another very exciting edition of Data Science Tutorials. Myself, Dr. Suptik Mukherjee. Today's topic is reshaping data. But before we move on to the topic, I have a small request. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel. We put a lot of hard work and effort in creating these videos. If you subscribe, it will motivate us significantly. Also, the dataset as well as the Jupyter notebook that you're using today has been uploaded in GitHub, the link for which has been provided in the description below. Now, coming on to the topic, reshaping data, we are going to use a couple of different pandas functions or methods like dot pivot and then dot agg, dot groupby, and so on. So now the task that we have here is we have the data frame which we know, right? So this is the data frame that we have. This is df. Hold on, 1 second. The data frame that we have is df1, and so df1 is this is what we have, right? So in this we want the country as the index, the athlete name as the columns, and the edition id which they participated in, that one should become the values. So that's what we are aiming for. Okay, or I can show you what we are aiming for. We are aiming for at this is the country and this is the athlete name and the edition that they participated in the Olympics for gold. Those who have won gold, we want that. Okay, so that's how we want to reshape the data. So now what we do is we first take all the rows in the data frame 1, and replace the na which is here, right? So this is na. We want to replace na with not a number, nan. Okay, and for the same frame, that means in place equal to true for the same data frame. And then we want to drop the nan value. So all rows which have nan values, you drop using drop na function. Then what we do is we convert the edition id to numeric, and if it cannot be converted to numeric, we replace it with an n, not a number. So we take the edition id for df1 cleaned, and which is after removing the nan, and then if it cannot be converted to to numeric, then you put nan, and then you drop where it's not the wet but edition id, just oops, it is the edition id. And so wherever edition id is in NN, we drop it, and then oops, and then what we do is gold wherever the medal is gold for this column. We store it in a new data frame, gold winners df1. So now we do apply the pivot function, which is, so what is pivot? Is a method provided by pandas. So we apply the pivot method, and so we create a pivot table from the given data frame. So what we do is the index is the country name of the country, the columns are athletes, and the values are edition id. And this is for the gold winners df1 data frame. And I've explained all these things in details. You can have a look. So when I do the head, what we get? We get the country, we get the athlete's name, and we get the edition wherever when they belong to that country, which edition they want the gold. Okay. Now same thing I have tried for country, athletes, and the height of the athletes and their weights and so on. But you can have a look at that later also. I'm not explaining here. Now we come to the next thing, that is group by. And group by is essentially means that you have countries, right? So we want, and we have athletes, the weight and height given. So we want for each country all the weights to be grouped by, all the heights to be grouped by, for the athletes. And so first we convert the weight to numeric value. First convert the weight, and if it cannot be converted, then it plays with none that in that column. And then we drop all the rows having none. And same we do for the height. Now after you have done that, let's come to the group by. So what you do is, for we group by country and the weight and the height columns. So you see, this is the part of the code that specify the columns you're interested in, namely weight and height. By using double square brackets, you're indicating that you want to select these two columns as a subset of the original data frame. And then after grouping by country and selecting the weight and height columns, you apply the mean method. This calculates the average mean value for each column within each group of countries. So now what you get? Now you get countries as the index and weight and height of these, the mean weight and height for the athletes from the countries. Now I use .agg. What does .agg do? Is method to perform aggregations. The aggregation variable should be a dictionary that defines which aggregation function to apply to specific columns in the group data. An aggregation function can be anything that summarizes a group of values such as mean, sum, count, etc. Now when you have this dictionary, and in dictionary we specify weight, and we say mean, median, and maximum we want of that weight, right? And so you're applying for the entire data frame, and so you get the weight and the height and the mean, median, and maximum. Now what I want is, friends, I've used df here. We have already defined df before. You should get in this Jupyter notebook somewhere in the beginning. And so what done now is, I have an aggregation which is defining a dictionary, and I've grouped by country, and I've applied the aggregation. So here it's very nicely mentioned. After the data is grouped by country, you are applying aggregation function to each group. The ag method is used to perform this aggregation. The aggregation variable should be a dictionary, and that what you need, right? So then what we have is, we have the country, and the weight, the mean, median, and max for the weight of the athletes is given, and mean, median, max for the height of the athletes is given. So you have a nice reshaping of the table, which will be really helpful to understand large data. Go through this, and I'm sure it will be of much benefit and help to you. That's all we have in the video. Thanks for watching, and happy learning.